trifecta. What a delightful day we're having, huh? Yeah, right, guys? Oh, I'm drinking like Chateau Margaux. Cheers. I'm looking at a Stone Cold Fox. We have a very special guest. Wendy Dio is with us, ladies and gentlemen. This is a big deal. It's a big deal for so many reasons. We're going to get into it. Wendy knows all my dark secrets. She's known me for, well, we're going to get into it. But more specifically, yesterday was my birthday. You called me on my birthday. You always do. You're so sweet. You're just, I just love you so much, Wendy. So it's a real treat. We have big things happening this weekend. Today was a special day, but I can't go on. I cannot do this show without telling everyone that it's Naughty Gotti's birthday. Oh! Happy birthday to our director, Naughty Gotti. I mean, he's just, what a handsome man. You know, he's got those blue eyes that just, they don't quit. They don't quit. Oh, he's air kissing me. Naughty Gotti, is there anything you're looking forward to this year?
No.
That sums it up. Sums it up. Starchild, do you have any birthday wishes for Naughty Gotti?
I think I'm pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think you're pretty good, and I think Naughty Gotti's pretty good. What do you think?
I don't claim to know.
Yeah, he doesn't claim to know.
I think he's happy about Gotti's birthday.
He is.
And Tricky Dicky's birthday coming up tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
come on,
so
what?
Tricky Dicky.
Motown Philly soul.
Yeah, you got it. You know, Tricky Dicky, he's got the soul, the Motown Philly soul. You know, but if there was one birthday wish you wanted to have come true for Richard, he works so hard on this show, what would it be, Starchild?
Allow him to evolve at his own level.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
wiser words have never been said about Richard Van Sheltinga.
He cares about you.
Wowza.
Dick Tingle. What a man.
Well, he is
man.
evolving.
Move away from the nest.
Yeah. Are you moving out? You moving out of the nest?
Whoa. Whoa.
Okay.
It's even more cryptic than...
Yeah. Well, there are many things happening. So, Wendy, my birthday's yesterday. You know, Naughty Gotti's birthday is today. Tricky Dicky's birthday is tomorrow, right? And we normally do the tourist trifecta, right? We eat a lot of food. So last night, we all got together. I had some folks over at the house, and I was really missing my parents. And my mother used to make beef stroganoff, right? Mm-hmm. I've never made it. I haven't had it in 30 years.
It was delicious.
You liked it?
Very delicious.
It had a little cayenne kick. Did you enjoy it?
I totally enjoyed it.
Okay, well, so
It's one of my top 5 dishes.
He had 3
really?
plates.
Yeah.
Just
Beef
stroganoff
stroganoff.
in general?
I make it all the time.
You do?
I do.
Was that like a similar kind of vibe? Was it different than the stroganoff you make?
I just do egg noodles. You did the rice, which was an interesting twist. Which was a fun twist.
My mother always served it with rice. So I just
Did you make it?
I made it. Yeah.
Wow.
I went home a little early. We started. You know, my mother preferred that you use the Harvey's Bristol cream.
Oh yes.
You know, in the cooking. But it was a nice celebration, and I have to say, this time of year when it rolls around, I think of many things, right?
Yeah.
I think of Naughty Gotti, but Naughty Gotti's birthday shares a really special day.
Right.
Is saying special day? That's not the right way to
Hallowed.
say it. Hallowed, yeah, a hallowed day.
Hallowed.
Yeah, we lost Ronnie James Dio 15 years ago.
Yes.
Today. And, you know, so I woke up this morning filled with love in my heart from the previous night, and then filled with this bittersweet.
Yes. Exactly. Bittersweet is the
Yeah.
exact words. Yeah.
This feeling of going to see you this morning. It was a real honor to be invited to, you know, just remember Ronnie. And so Wendy, is it okay for me to talk about it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So Wendy says, I want you to go. And
To the memorial for Ronnie.
yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, it's a beautiful setting. I pull in. Is it okay if I say where it is?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so it's
Yeah,
public knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unlike my family, we don't talk about where my dad is buried, so I'm trying to be sensitive about
Right.
that. I don't know why that is, by the way. He's at Hollywood
It's
Forever.
easily Googleable, by
he's
the
not.
way.
There you go. So, Forest Lawn in Hollywood, even though it feels more like the Valley.
I know, but it's called Hollywood
Yeah,
Hills.
yeah,
To not confuse with the Glendale one.
yeah. And so I pull in. You'll like this. It's beautiful setting. Really, the church, the chapel that's there, and you pull in, you kind of veer to the left, and it was just all coyotes. Did you see all the coyotes this morning? Which was
I can tell you why.
But tell us what do they
May
do
I call
them
coyotes
out?
exclusively
No,
like Dio?
because P22 is gone.
Okay.
Forest Lawn was P22. The mountain lion that lived in Griffith Park. It was his favorite hunting ground because people would leave flowers for their loved ones, and the deer would come down
And
out
eat
of the
them.
hill
Oh, yes.
and eat the flowers.
Yes.
And P22 realized, like, that's my place.
Yeah.
But now that he's gone, the coyotes are like, we're okay now. We rule the place.
Wow.
That's why you saw them.
Well,
One time I thought that somebody was stealing my roses and cutting the top off them, and found out it was the deers eating them.
so wait, what was your plan of attack? Because no. First of all, what was consistent today was people were talking about Ronnie and celebrating Ronnie, but another through line where it's a very emotional day, but people talk with such reverence about you and the love that you guys shared, but also you just don't fuck around. Fuck around and find out with Wendy Dio. That was like really, that was a through line through like, people were sharing stories. Were like, well, like let's say there's a problem on the road. Again, I think a few moments people were sharing.
Yeah.
They're like, Ronnie would be like, let's call Wendy. She'll handle this, right? Someone was expressing that there's a problem with one of the tour promoters, and they boxed the band in because there was an injury and they couldn't play, and so they couldn't get out. And delaying everyone. So Ronnie, because he's amazing, was like, well, he never wanted to let the fans down, but it wasn't him who couldn't play that day. It was one of
Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Had injured his back. Yep.
So the paramedics, medical, all that. The club the promoter of the gig was being can I say was it being a twat? Well, how would you describe it?
A dick.
Oh, it did. Okay. And so Wendy had to come in and fucking eviscerate these people so that they could exit the stadium. But before that, Ronnie goes out, no security, walks through the crowd, right? There's no amplification, but he leads them all in, a chant of apologies, an authentic apology, but just so that they could feel his soul and that he was connected to the crowd. And, all of the stories that we heard about, Ronnie all day were incredible.
Yeah. Well, it's incredible to me that there's always like 30 people. He's been gone 15 years. There's still 30 of close friends that show up for his memorial. And it's really touching to me, to my heart, that they're still there. And tell the story about the fan that was there by a mistake.
Oh, this was intense. I mean, his story.
Yeah.
He shared it, and I say this respectfully because it was pretty heavy. So, a bunch of folks are encouraged to say, a happy memory, like what a fond memory of what Dio meant to them, and it's I felt honored to be there because the first time I met Ronnie was with you, Brando. Mm-hmm. So I told that story, and I won't get into that. But as people are getting up and tears are flowing, and again the laughter, extraordinary moment. This guy winds up standing next to me. And he's got his phone out. He's carrying some roses. He's got this really badass Ronnie shirt on. I've never seen one like that.
I'll get you one.
You have one of those? Yeah. So he's got this kick-ass Dio pin, and then very like a super cool picture of Ronnie and all of his rock stardom. Great black and white photo of him.
That's from Rainbow.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what it felt like,
yeah.
I thought. He in the picture, he looks like he was 26 or something.
It probably was, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just full Dio Prime. And people have spoken, and Wendy says, is there anyone else that I may have, overlooked? Because everyone's getting up. And this guy says, I'll speak, right?
Yeah,
So we all turn around and looking at this guy, and I thought he was just late to the memorial and that you guys all knew him.
No.
Just a fan.
Uh-huh.
He says, I'm just a fan. I'd like to say something. And,
Was he just a guy that was in Forest Lawn just to deliver flowers somewhere
come
else?
up to see Ronnie,
Okay.
but didn't know that we were having the big memorial there.
Yeah.
Had no idea. He just was there at that particular time.
Okay, so the difference between you and my mother would have been like, who is that person? Get that person out of here, right? Like just the security factor and the whole vibe. Everyone else there is like, we'll go on, because the spirit of how Ronnie was. They would say that a few people talked about. Big guys coming up, like maybe you think there's going to be a fight or something. And just Ronnie had a way of dealing with people, taking any heated situation, just handling every situation with grace, humility, compassion. That was consistent. So in the same way, I have to say, Wendy, you have those superpowers as well. So Wendy's like, go on, right? So the guy's like, okay. And he stands in front of everyone, in front of Ronnie's, it's not a headstone. It's
a sarcophagus.
It says "Man on the Silver Mountain," Ronnie James Dio in his handwriting. It's beautiful. And there's these vases that are part of the sarcophagus that are the.
I had to fight for that for many, many months with Forest Lawn over that.
It's the greatest.
To let them know that it was warding off evil, and this is why we want them on there and whatever. And it took ages, and I got it.
Even that was talked about, that this is from Ronnie's grandmother, going through the neighborhood and warding off evil, and so that's why Ronnie consistently did that. It's just part of the fabric of his upbringing. So, anyways, this guy, this stranger, gets up, and he shared that he was suicidal, that he was thinking about taking his life. And I was struck by the order of the events. He said he made two promises, right? One, I hope I'm getting it right. First was to Dio, second to God, and maybe third was maybe to family. To family. That's what he said. Yeah. But he then talked about the first time he heard Dio's music, what it means to him, how the music saved his life, keeps him going, and then the tradition of passing it on to his kids. And he's kept all the T-shirts. So like he cried when his son was wearing what was the
Lost in Line? Yeah, he chose Lost in Line.
Yeah, T-shirt for a graduation, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then he even made a joke about his wife that during the wedding, was it Live Evil that he played through the entire his wedding?
There's a big black shadow sitting over me.
Yeah.
And she said, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a truly, truly impactful, special moment.
And people were into him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, embraced, and then they do a group picture, and he's like, I'm getting in there. And
Did he? I didn't know it was.
He stood right next to me.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he's like, hey man, Ahmet Zappa, really nice to meet you, man. I'm like, nice to meet you too. Thank you so much for sharing. So emotional morning.
Yeah.
And again, I thank you for being here on such an emotional day. And we have a lot to talk about.
Should we mention another emotional day that'll come up on Sunday?
Yeah, please do.
This Sunday.
The end of our birthdays?
Yeah.
The end of your birthday.
The cherry on top of our birthday Sunday.
And Rock for Ronnie in Griffith Park, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., headlined by our buddy Sebastian Bach to raise money
for our cancer fund.
For the Cancer Fund.
Yeah.
Ahmed Zappa is hosting. So many great bands on the lineup.
Yeah, Eddie Trunk normally does this. He couldn't do it this year. I'm sure you called 7 other people after that.
I did not. You're the only person I called, and the only person that Eddie said could do it.
Oh,
well, that's it's sweet. I called him because I was like, dude, you got to tell me. Like, I don't want to mess this up. You know, obviously, Eddie, you are Robin to my Batman. No, I said you know, is there a trick to doing this? He's like, no, man, you'll be fine. I'm like, I just don't want to mess this up for Wendy. And he's like, I'm just bummed out I couldn't be there. He really...
I know. He's been there every time.
Yeah.
He's always at bowling. He's always at... You know, we have 2 events a year, which is the Rock for Ronnie and the Celebrity Bowling for Ronnie. And he's always there. So he was really bummed.
Well, he's really the loudest, one of the loudest mouthpieces for metal.
Oh, he's kept it alive. He's definitely kept it alive, yeah.
Solid dude. You know, and genuinely bummed that he couldn't be there. And I'm honored to be a substitute host for him. And
You're not a substitute host. You are my choice.
Well, you know, I will cry, Wendy, because you know how I feel about you. Yeah, or do you know? Shall I tell you? Because I will go on and on and on about it. Go for it.
I love you.
Well, I love you too. So Wendy had a furniture store, an antique business. You still do. I mean, it's like a side. I don't want to say a side thing, but
how I started that was because in the 90s, you know, everybody got dropped from the metal business, and I worked on commission. I'm like, what am I going to do? I have to do something.
Yeah.
And so I started this little shop, first of all, and it grew into 15,000 square feet on Ventura Boulevard.
Can we just say that one more time? 15,000 square feet.
Yeah.
It was the Ivy Cottage.
First of all, it was the Ivy Cottage,
Yeah.
and that one was the Ivy Antiques and Design Center.
I would come in with my mom.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I didn't connect the dots on Dio and Wendy because it was just Wendy and my mom. And, you know, I was a kid, right?
You were a kid, yeah.
So
I remember the monkey lamp she bought.
yeah.
Do you remember the monkey lamp?
I do. Yeah. I have it somewhere, I'm sure.
I'm sure you do.
But you know, I think before we met, you probably helped Moon get a date or Dweezil get a date.
That's how I met your mom.
Okay, please tell the story.
Yes, when I was managing a band called Rough Cut.
Okay. With Amir Durak.
With Amir Durak, right. And so your mom called me out of the blue and said, hi, I would like to arrange a date with Moon with your Amir Durak. She said, I'll pay for the dinner, you pay for the limo. I said, okay. And we did. And Amir got on really well with Dweezil.
So you guys were like rock and roll madams, it seems like,
we
right?
were. Yeah. The date didn't work out with Moon, but he became part of your family as well.
Oh, he would come over all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Is this which Rough Cut track you playing right now?
Dreaming Again.
Dreaming Again.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what were their big hits?
Dreaming Again. Dreaming Again, I think.
Piece of My Heart.
A Piece of My Heart. Well, that was covered by Portia Tina. It was amazing. Piece of My Heart was absolutely beautiful.
Oh my God. I mean,
she loved Amir.
She super loved Amir.
Sad that didn't work out.
It's
shocking.
Yeah,
Should we call her and ask her what happened?
Yeah, we should. Well, so aside from being a rock and roll madam, you know, people should know, if they don't know, you were married to Ronnie, but then from, you know, working with him as his business partner, I don't think enough people probably give you the credit for the impact you had on his career and other bands, right?
I think the talent has to be there.
Yeah.
I always worked behind the scenes, which I enjoyed doing and stuff. And Ronnie and I were always a real business team because he never interfered with what I told him to do, what the management part, I never interfered with his music. So it worked out really well. We used to butt heads a lot, and people used to go, oh, you get really scared that something is happening. No, because I think I was probably the only person who could tell Ronnie to go self.
Right. Right. You can say whatever you want on this.
No, I'm not sure everyone, but yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I did many times.
To tell them to like no. I was talking about this today. You used to carry the authentic Heinz vegetarian beans. You would import them from the UK and all the British chocolates.
I still do.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Let me try to be focused for once. So, meeting you, the bands that you worked with, as I became a teenager in my early 20s, the Ivy Cottage is now 15,000 square feet. I lived right around the corner, so I would come in and say hi to you quite a bit, right? Mm-hmm. And you always felt like extended family to me.
Yeah.
And
well, your mum and I did a lot of things together as well. So, yeah.
Did you ever talk about any? I mean, she's totally committed to Frank.
Yeah.
But who else did she like, Wendy? Who did she have rock and roll crushes on? She ever like? Because I know. Did
you ever go to Casa Vega with her to see if Marlon Brando was there?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let's hear. Just what was that like? Because she was my mom, but she was also a rock and roll lady. So
absolutely, yeah.
Give us some inside scoop.
We used to go to a lot of parties together and stuff.
Oh, really? Did she ever actually? Do you know if she ever really hooked up with Keith Moon? I'll take that as a yes.
Oh, he was so bad.
Oh my God! This was happening? Like, do you think they really? Is Frank my real father? Who's my real dad?
Keith.
No, definitely.
Is Keith Moon my real dad?
No, definitely not. No,
Definitely not.
no.
Peter Tork from the Monkees.
With my mom?
No way.
I mean, he's cool, but like that, no. I can, Keith used to send
John Anderson from Yes.
No, but I used to hang out with John all the time. Who besides the metal scene, did you guys have like another kind of legendary rock kind of people that you would socialize with, have tea parties with? Who were your normal Friday nights, Saturday nights when you weren't touring?
Whoever was in town. At
David
the time.
Coverdale?
Oh, yeah, big time. Ronnie did some backup vocals on one of his albums. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Was it
Purple Guys, of course.
Yeah.
Everybody in Purple. Ronnie did Ian Gillan did his own solo album, and Ronnie sang on that as well.
Yeah.
And, I mean...
And did you first meet my mom and dad because my dad had a drummer in the band, right? Ainsley Dunbar.
Ainsley, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you guys knew each other, you and Ainsley.
Mm-hmm. Very well.
You want to talk about that at all, or not?
No.
Really? Okay, well, screw that guy. Anyways, that's how you guys first met.
No, because Ronnie knew your dad very well.
Okay.
They hung out a few times together.
Their mutual love of Indian food was a bond.
Yeah, they did. They hung out
bond.
very many times. I didn't really know your dad very well. I met him a couple of times, but I just sat in the corner.
Yeah.
But your mom and I became very good friends after the Moon and Amir thing.
Yeah.
Because we even talked about going into business together.
Did you go to an all-girls school too?
I went to a boarding school, unfortunately, with nuns.
What were those nuns nunning about when you were there? What kind of like a...
Well, I was very bad.
Tell us more.
Well, underneath their habits...
Do you need to drink some of that so more truth serum?
Yeah.
Take a moment. Take a moment. Do, 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 let the truth come out. Squeak, ba-da-boo, do,
So those
do, do,
nuns
do.
underneath their habits were these like navy blue bloomers.
Okay.
So we used to like to take them and hang them on the flagpole. Of which I got 50 Hail Marys shut in a cupboard, which would be called child abuse now. I was shut in this little cupboard.
You had to sit down in a cupboard and go, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with
Yes.
thee. Right, wow.
Yeah.
50 times.
50 times,
Yeah.
And maybe do it again because I stuffed the piano.
So were you Protestant, Catholic?
Catholic.
Catholic.
I was actually brought up Church of England, which is, I don't know what that is here, what it's called here, but...
Is it?
It's Protestant considered.
Protestant. It's Protestant, yes. But I lived in a Jewish neighborhood. All my friends were Jewish. I was the one who used to go turn the lights out for him on Friday nights and get paid for it. My best friend father was a rabbi.
Yeah.
And so we hung out a lot together. She used to climb out the window on Friday nights and we'd go off somewhere to the speakeasy or somewhere.
This is
Then,
exciting.
let's see, and then I went to Catholic school, and then I was in Japan for a while studying Buddhism. So I just think it just comes from your heart. Everything comes from your heart. You have to, and one time a sermon, it was a Protestant sermon, and I couldn't have been more than 8 or 9, and he said, if you shine your shoes, you must shine the back as well, because God sees everything. And that stuck in my mind all the time, that made me pick up a piece of paper off the floor or something like that, because God's watching me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think everything comes from your heart. Ronnie wasn't a particularly religious person. He believed in something, but not quite knowing what. He was an altar boy at school, Catholic, of course. And I just think you have to be really, really good to be the ultimate being. I think Ronnie became the ultimate being. Otherwise, I think you just keep coming back on earth. This is how I believe, until you get it right.
Yeah.
I think he got it right. Yeah.
He got so many things right, and I think the probably the number one thing he got right was you. That's the number one thing.
That's a very sweet thing to say.
I think it's true. I look at and reflect on how challenging it was for my parents to have kids and be in a relationship and the music situation.
Oh, it's very hard.
And there's very few examples of people that it takes a village to make art,
And also the time that I started, I didn't really want to manage. What happened was, I did know a lot about the business because, when my first job, when I was still at school, I used to work in the summer holidays, was sent to Decca Records. I worked at Decca Records in the legal department. I was just a coffee girl, tea girl. But then they gave me a job after I graduated. So I had a job there. Then I left there and I went to a booking agency, and then I went to a lawyer's in the music business. But that was it, And then with Ronnie, he had a manager with Bruce Payne was his manager for Elf. And then when he joined Rainbow, Richie said he didn't like the manager. What about your manager? So Bruce became their manager, Rainbow's manager. And then when Ronnie got fired, he didn't have a manager. So he said, you're going to have to do it now. And I was like, I don't know about that. So let me try on a few other bands first. And that's how I became the manager. But it was very, very hard in that time because I was a woman.
Yeah.
And there were only 2 women then. That was Sharon and myself. And all the men would come, you don't know what you're doing, blah, 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 blah. And so I would take the part where I would listen to what they said. Oh, thank you very much. Then I just do my own thing. Sharon would just say, fuck you. You know. So, but we both became successful in different ways.
For sure.
When you were working at the record companies, I mean, there must have been the Don Ardens and the Peter Grants of the world around.
Sure.
So were you sort of watching how they approached the business? Because that was a pretty cutthroat.
I did it my own way. And I'll tell you, when I was at Decca, David Bowie came in with an acetate. You know what an acetate is, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like a...
Please tell me you hooked up with David Bowie.
He came in and they turned him down.
Oh my God.
They turned, and
But did you turn him down?
No. I had the acetate for years and years, and somebody stole it from when I moved over here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It was, but it was hard. It was really hard because a lot of times, and I'll tell you another silly story. When Ronnie was playing Day on the Green with Bill Graham, and I was recently managing, Holy Diver had become a huge hit all of a sudden overnight. So it was like, so we got there and I was doing the settlement. And it's 20 chairs I was being charged for. I said, why? He said, well, they're broken. I said, well, can I have them? Well, what do you want to do with them? I said, it doesn't matter. I'm paying for them. I want them. He goes, nobody ever asked for those. So anyway, it was $1,200. And we argued about this $1,200 back and forth. Then I said, you know what, Bill? You keep it because I spend that in lunch. You need it more than I do. Oh, no. He gave it to me. So years later, he said to me, I know you know what you did. You put reverse psychology on me and it worked. He goes, good for you.
Yeah, I mean, don't fuck with Wendy. That's the consistent situation. Outsmarted everybody.
As a young woman in London, who was one of the first bands that you saw live that you were like, oh, that's interesting?
Well, and when I was
You
14,
got to see
I used
everybody.
to go see a band called the Paramounts,
Okay.
which was Robin Trower, was turned
wow.
into
Wow.
Procol Harum.
Wow.
And my friend dated him.
Oh, wow.
So that was my kind of first introduction to music, really.
And what about the Cray Brothers? Was that still a
Oh,
thing?
Cray Brothers. I know Cray Brothers. Cray Brothers was one of them, madly, and not the great gay one, the other one was madly in love with my cousin. Madly in love. She worked in a club that they used to go down to. I used to go down there as well sometimes, and they loved her. And she always was nice to them, but she never went in. Used to give it, and she was, a single mother, and they used to give her big tips all the time, £500, all that. And she never went out with any of them. She was just sweet and nice. They just loved her.
Yeah. Did you ever? You didn't know my mother at that time, right? Because she had similar
No.
stories when she was stationed in the UK. Cause she worked for my,
No, I
for my
didn't
dad.
know her. I wish I did. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So those are things, and then
Who were the other gangsters situations?
oh, there's a lot of people. They want to be. Well, Don Arden was one of them. He did a protection racket and everything. Yeah, it's funny because when he was going through that whole situation where the shooting thing, which I think David ended up going to jail for.
Yeah.
I was down in Puerto Vallarta and I was laying on the beach and it was Don next to me. I was like, oh, hi. I never saw you, no.
Yeah.
But Don actually called when Sabbath went back, I think, when Ronnie went back with Sabbath, I think it was in the 90s for Dehuman at the time. Mm-hmm. He called me and he said, hey, Wendy, why don't we do a joint management thing? I'm the old, you're the new. And I was terrified. And I said, well, I think we have to talk to the band about that. You should talk to Tony. That never happened, no. But I was terrified of him. I wasn't going to say, oh, no, what do you say? Get out of it.
Yeah. That's good that you did.
But when I was, I think, about 15, 16, I went to see, in my hometown, I went to see the Beatles.
Oh.
And they were third on the bill.
Who was your crush out of the Beatles?
Paul. But later, John.
Okay.
I have John Lennon photos and all kinds of stuff all over my house.
Is that because you and John held hands?
No. But I did go to Paul McCartney's 21st birthday.
Oh.
Because I was with Ainsley then, and Ainsley went to school with George Harrison. So
It's crazy.
Yeah. And they were third on the bill to Chris Montez and Tommy. Who was the headline? Tommy somebody.
Because you were, in this music scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're talking about the Beatles and Procol Harum and just the UK. The UK music scene, because then you came to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You're kind of two big emerging musical moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Certainly in the 60s, 70s, and then the 80s in LA, right, on the Sunset Strip. So, you caught two awesome kind of big moments and participated and lived that journey and that lifestyle. Do you have any comments on how shitty and how broken it is now?
The problem is with the music scene is you can only invent the wheel so many times.
Yeah.
And all the innovators, are almost gone now. And there's really not a lot of really good music coming out. There must be some little bands here and there, but totally it's not it could never be that because they were the innovators. They were the ones that created the music.
Yeah. I mean, even, I take it for granted, but I was telling, I think my father-in-law and my son, we were talking about guitar players and, mentioning Jimi Hendrix, and people know him for the wah-wah pedal, right? Among other things, right? Mm-hmm. And you think about that sound, and that's a pretty ubiquitous thing that people can play a wah-wah pedal, but that was actually a new invention. Del Casher creates this thing, gives it to my dad. My dad gives it to Jimmy, right? So that's how that alchemy, kind of came to pass. And little moments like that. Where are those kind of new, I guess, innovations?
I remember
really heavy.
dancing at the Revolution Club to Led Zeppelin when I was like, this is amazing. This is just amazing, you know. And I remember talking with the Purple guys when
Before Led Zeppelin was Led Zeppelin, or they kind of had a moment, or
they were just coming up.
Oh,
they were just
awesome.
coming up. Yeah. And I remember one time with the Purple guys and Carmine Appice.
Yeah.
A piece.
yeah.
They all changed. They all three brothers called themselves different. He had just come with what's the band?
Vanilla
Fudge.
Yeah, with Vanilla
And
Fudge.
I remember I remember Ian Pace going, "Wow, listen to this drummer. This is amazing." And it was like it was all new. All these people were coming in with new sounds, new things.
So you and your girlfriends, what was music your passion?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so did you have an idea of who you were wanting to go and see, or was it we're going to go to this club and then you'd be surprised by who was playing that night? Like, what was the?
Well, yes. No, mostly we picked out what we were going to go see and stuff. We went to Speakeasy a lot, bump into people, go to Sunset Marquee, see people playing there, you know. I remember when Ainsley went for audition with, God, I can't think of his name.
Jimmy Joe Bob Orangutan? Does that ring a bell?
No. This guy, I forget. I can see his Alexis Corner. He went for an audition, but the audition was at the Sunset Marquee. Not Sunset Marquee, the Marquee Club
London
in
Marquee.
London Marquee.
The London Marquee.
And
So that place sounded like shit,
He had
by the
to
way.
play with them for the night. That was his audition. Well, he didn't get the gig, but John Mayall was in the audience.
Okay.
And he got the gig with John Mayall.
Oh, wow.
So, John Mayall, you know, like just a few degrees of separation on, you know, people that were close to the family before you ever met, you know, my mother or my father. But
Well, they lived right. He lived right near you on Lookout. Yeah.
I mean, I just there's nothing better than the 70s and then certainly the 80s.
Well, British 60s. If I could build a time machine and go back to anything, I'd go back to London circa 1964, 65, just to be a part of all that. Because it's the post-war. Everyone's coming of age, right? London has been rebuilt. Pants British guys looking at me like Brendan's explaining post-war London. But it's insane that all these musicians, as Brian May said to the Queen, were all from Surrey.
Yeah.
Clapton, Beck, Page.
Yeah.
It's an insane era of time that will never be recreated.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember I used to go to parties with. I never did drugs ever, and I never that, but nobody cared, you know. And I remember sitting on a wall talking to Brian Jones before he passed away. We were at a party and just sitting there, just talking about I don't know whatever. You know, they all did drugs. I never did, but they accepted that she didn't do drugs. Nobody ever tried to push it on me or anything.
What was the drug of choice?
They were smoking
Hash?
Yeah, because I remember one time, the first time, the only time it happened, and I guess that's why I didn't. Was someone gave me something to smoke because I used to smoke then socially, you know, and they gave me this thing to smoke, whatever it was.
Didn't do drugs, but you love the crack cocaine, smoking crack, right? Boy. Yeah, it's not. It's just no. We got this wrong.
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay,
nothing.
Right. Okay.
So they gave me this thing to smoke, and I smoked whatever it was. And I was so ill for 3 days, throwing up, that I thought I never, ever want to touch anything ever again. Have a drink, fall down, wake up in the morning, fine.
That's fine with that. I do have to say this. Wendy brought... did you just bring it because that we drink and I was telling you the show? Or I like to think that you wanted to kind of celebrate.
Yeah, I'm celebrating.
Naughty Gotti. You want to celebrate this posthumous day. Certainly, Richard, I know how much you deeply, deeply care for Richard, right?
Well, I only knew it was your birthday, but I'll celebrate with everybody. No, we brought it because of your birthday and because my daughter's birthday is the 9th of April and mine is the 11th. So every year we do Mummy and Me. But every year, Mummy and Me, there seems to be a lot of stragglers that come along with us. Yeah. So we did our 21st in New York last year. Last year we did Catalina. This year we did Napa.
Okay.
So it was Mummy and me, and then another friend of ours who's got a daughter that's near her age, and then 2, what do we call them? Klingons that came along, 2 friends of ours.
The
So
Klingons?
6 of us girls went up to Napa, and we went to the French Laundry, which was amazing.
Yummy.
Amazing. And we went to all these vineyards up there and had so much fun, tasted all the wine.
What was the best?
best
Tell
was-
us where you went, and then let's
Okay,
then
yeah,
let's
we
then
went
tell me the best.
to
Because we, you know, I think we all like going, and we've gone together sometimes, and then independently. So give us a pro tip on the places.
we flew up to Oakland. We rented a car, drove to Sausalito, spent the night and the day in Sausalito, which was lovely, and then drove up to Calistoga.
Okay.
Stayed at a fabulous place that Delilah said to me, "Mummy, will you buy me this?"
Sounds good, right?
Yeah, wasn't it?
What was
It
special
was like an
about
old manor house. It was like an old English manor house. It was lovely. It had a huge pool, a tennis court, but it was done so beautifully. Like the tennis court, you couldn't see unless you went through this little archway. It was just lovely. Anyway, we've been told to go to this. Well, we've been told about, what was it, Promontory?
Promontory?
Yeah.
What was it called?
Promontory? Promontory, right. It's a hard name to remember.
I think I'm saying it right. And
Promontory. Anyway, very hard to get into. So
Yeah.
I wrote a very nice British letter
yeah,
saying that I
you
know-
Wendy Dio did is what you did.
Yes, and I wrote and I said that I know you're the best wine, and I would love my daughter to be introduced to the finest wines. So we would love to come and visit your place. So they said, fine. So the 6 of us went there. It was a beautiful old place, but it was done very modern. So we had they treated us with Dom Perignon, and then we went for the wine tasting, blah, blah. It's 100 points wine, which most wines are 95 point. This is a 100-point wine.
Yeah.
Okay. Very expensive.
Yes.
So I hope to bring a bottle of that today, but they haven't shipped it to me yet.
Yes.
And I got roped into being in their wine club, which is
Yeah.
extraordinarily expensive. Anyway, so
Good for you.
then
You did it.
they gave us, what did they give us, crackers or something to eat with it? Yeah, whatever, while we wine taste. Then we went to this place called, what is it? Chateau del Dotto? Oh, Piazza, what? Piazza del Dotto.
Okay, I can't even say it.
But
Sounds
everybody
great.
said, well, you know, around here we call it Piazza del Blotto because they'll give you so much wine. We went there. They had the most amazing feast for us to eat. Better than French Laundry.
Really?
Caviar, everything, lobster, you name it. It was amazing. And then they took us down to the wine, and there were barrels, and they took the wine straight from the barrel for us to taste. And it was really a fun time. So much fun, we took the sommelier to dinner with us that night to Bouchon. But that was great. And I did bring you some of that wine.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yes.
I mean, there's a ton of the wine behind us. Should we take
Let's take a break.
let's open some
Quick
wines.
reset.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys can pick what you want to open.
Yeah,
and
let's
then
open it
come
all.
back and
We can take a break.
figure out what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
Well, we'll be right back. It's Rock Tales. If you feel like calling in and asking any questions, we're happy to take your calls. And, you know, let's celebrate Rano. Let's celebrate Ronnie James Dio and Nadia Gotti back in 5 minutes.
That was good. Very fun.
We're coming back. We're back. Coming back. We're back.
You're such a pro
Oh,
in
thank
your
you,
ability
thank you.
to just
Really,
whiz
just
around the studio and open a bottle of wine, and put a cheese plate in the middle of the thing, and
well,
sit down and put your headphones on.
I have a little gherkin ruckus right there. Naughty Gotti, are you getting a picture of all the different cheeses and things that are happening right here? You see this? It's like a magical stink fest of deliciousness. Well, we got. I got some French cheeses. I got tried to only the best for you, Wendy. They're all from Best Buy. The new cheese section at Best Buy.
Richard,
The electronics store, Best Buy.
What you were saying? Sorry.
I just said I don't like American cheese. Everything has to be from Europe because it's the best cheese. I don't know.
Well, this is all European cheeses.
Yeah,
This is all European cheeses. It actually is.
I can see the brie.
Just so you know. The one in the middle, though, is a truffle cheese.
Oh, that looks interesting.
Which I'm going to get into. So this is the wine that you were just talking about. That this place had the best feast waiting for you at the wine testing.
Oh, the feast. Yes, the feast.
Del Nato Wapapapapap.
Yeah.
That one.
Dotto. Mm-hmm.
And so
this is also the place that the Kardashians filmed at for their show when they went
then it
to
has to be
winery.
good.
And it was beautiful. It was all like Italian marble columns. It was just beautiful. Everything was beautiful. The floor was absolutely gorgeous with different pieces of marble, different colors. It was just a lovely, beautiful place. It's done so well, and the food was excellent. And let's taste the wine and see what we think.
While we all pour a glass of wine,
There
can
you
I
go.
tell Wendy about the greatest moment of my life?
Oh,
Yeah,
here
go
we
ahead.
go.
It's Richard's favorite story. 2003, you were kind enough to take Amit and I to Irvine Meadows to see Ronnie with Maiden and Motorhead. We got to meet Ronnie for a while and hang out with the band. The greatest moment of my life was when Ronnie turned to me and said, "Would you like a Boddington's, Brendan?"
Oh yeah, Boddington's was his, yes, or vodka.
He
Yep.
shared his stash with me, and that was, it's all been downhill since then for me.
That's it.
That was the top. the peak
To
of my
Ronnie.
life.
A drink to that.
Ronnie.
Yep. To Ronnie.
Love you, Wendy.
Love you more.
That was a crazy day because we were also meeting Lemmy,
Yeah.
and his manager told us beforehand that Lemmy
Todd?
had been up for 4 days, and if he's ornery, you guys got to punch back. You're going to go in the mobile
This is nice.
little hangout.
What is
Like,
happening?
stand up to him if he is.
This is
mean to you.
nice. This is very nice.
Naughty Gotti, I would say you need a little bit of this. You guys sneak some. This is. What is this?
Del Dotto Cabernet.
It's a cab. It's really good.
Wendy, thank you for for bringing this. This is incredible.
It's nice, isn't it? Mm.
Yeah, it's more than nice. This is like
It's got a really good taste. Like a lot of wines you drink and they have a bad aftertaste. This is a nice, really smooth, rich taste.
yeah. It's almost got feels like a dessert almost. It's like a warm, yummy.
warm, yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Hold on a second.
Good.
It's giving me some Falcon Crest. It's giving me a little Dallas, right? TV's Dallas. It's giving me. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna lock it in. Hold on. It's Melrose Place.
So the show you were talking
Melrose
about,
Place.
Irvine Meadows, Ronnie's favorite things. We did a lot of shows with Judas Priest and with Motorhead and Dio, and the guys were all so great. They all of them didn't care who closed the show. Everybody just said, "Oh, you're bigger than us in that one. You chose there and there," and nobody cared. He ever actually shared with Motorhead. We shared a road crew as well. And
wow.
those guys were just. Everybody was just. In fact, Todd Sigmund is one of my closest friends. He just sent me a postcard. He's in London right now.
I think some of those tours and when you know how challenging it is for paying for gas, buses, trucking, all of that. And when you can get people to work together and not be so pissy, where you can share a back line and share the crew, because the show has to go up and share a stage and all of that stuff. It makes for a better overall happiness, and that is rare that people do that.
Lemmy and Rob Halford and Lemmy were very similar people. They chose their friends very carefully. They weren't big. They were just really, really cool people that loved to hang out and loved each other very much so.
But for fans, I think that made it more special. Like fans knew that.
Oh yeah.
And just every photo of Rob and Ronnie hanging out casually, like for fans, that's like kind of manna from heaven.
Oh yeah.
Because it's real.
Yeah.
And it made the metal community a special thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And and they truly, as I said, truly loved each other.
Yeah.
And Rob still is amazing. He keeps in touch with me all the time. He's always like, he does whatever he can for us, for our charity. He's always, when he's out here, he's always like, we go and meet up and stuff. And he's just a sweetheart. I actually gave one of Ronnie's rings to Rob.
So when you guys did We're Stars, everyone probably just was like, whatever you want me to do, I'll be there and I'll do this song.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I saw Lemmy 2 hours before he died.
Wow.
Todd, his manager, called me and said, he's not feeling good. Could you, he hadn't been well for a while. He'd just come off the road like about 4 months before, and Sandy Paul was his doctor too. He said, can you bring Sandy over? Because he's not feeling good. So we went over there. And he was talking away, and his birthday was in December, and this was like January. And I had bought him some old German books that I found that he was very into,
Military and he's a big historian. Loved it.
And these were old antique books that I'd found.
Yeah.
And so, war books. And he thanked me for those, and we sat and talked for a while, and his girlfriend was there, and then he said, I'm a bit tired, I'm going to lay down. He laid down. I left. I went to the mall. I was walking around the mall. Todd called me and said, he just passed. I couldn't believe it. I walked around in circles. I didn't know.
That's horrible.
It was just like unbelievable. I'd just talking to him like 2 hours before. It was horrible.
He was also a very generous, sweet
absolutely.
soul, funny.
Yep.
The way that he looked, kind of, maybe unapproachable, kind of gave you that vibe. Mm-hmm. I don't think. He's not someone you messed around with, for sure, right?
He was very introverted, though. Same as Geezer Butler. They're introverted people. They're lovely people.
Yeah.
But they really are kind of introverted,
Yeah.
But when you know them, they're just sweet, wonderful people.
I feel really, really lucky to have gotten to know some of my heroes, and I think I mentioned this before. When I got up to say something kind about Dio and what he meant to me. I've met plenty of people that you're just like, oh, it's awkward, it's weird, it could be something, set someone off, or they're just pieces of shit, whatever it is. And I have to say, Ronnie was really that super unique, caring, thoughtful. Even when you were talking about us going to see Ronnie, to ask would he give us permission to work with you and Ronnie and Lemmy and Rob Halford to try to make this cartoon that didn't ultimately go anywhere, but we got to make this.
You should do that. Why can't you do it now?
Well, let's get back into it. Let's try to figure it out.
Seriously, when you were talking today about the rainbows coming out of the house, I was just like, I was like, God, it's so good. It was so creative.
Well, so this is an interesting time in our long friendship, and we were like, okay, we have this idea. It's called Metal Wolf. It's about a time-traveling heavy metal band that's trying to find the exact moment in history that rock and roll dies,
so
right? And they pinpoint Celine Dion's song "My Heart Will Go On." That's the song that just ruins rock and roll. And so, in their infinite wisdom, the gods of rock, right? Dio, Rob Halford, Lemmy, and Ronnie, they and Lemmy Kilmister, right? They bestow the power of time travel on the guys in Metal Wolf. And they figure out that the best way to save the future is to travel back in time to make sure that the Titanic doesn't sink. So therefore, Celine Dion will never record the song "My Heart Will Go On." And so they plug in and play a song called "Queen of the Night," right? And they blow up the Titanic before it ever sets sail because they rock the boat too hard. They beat the shit out of the Titanic orchestra, and they play this song. And when they travel back to the future, unfortunately, they set a horrible turn of events happens. The meanest and richest man in the world was a passenger that was supposed to set sail on the cruise, and because he heard metal for the first time, when they travel back to the future, metal just doesn't exist, and Hollywood is now called R. Kelly Wood. So we were like prophets.
We were ahead of our time.
Yeah. Gary Coleman winds up having a baby with Pamela Anderson, and through their unholy union, a demon baby is born. It punches its way out of her cervix. And just goes on a killing spree. So then they have to go back in time to stop themselves from, they have to basically drive the Titanic into an iceberg, right? So then they, in order to save the day, they teach Celine Dion the power of rock, so she doesn't make her style of music. She makes metal.
But your idea at the time, you were like, this would be great because if this show pops, we can play Metal Wolf before the bands come on stage.
Yeah.
Or we can introduce the band with the guys from Metal Wolf.
Yeah.
Which would have been amazing.
Yeah. What it could have, should have, man.
That was Wendy's idea.
Yeah.
I think it should be Britney Spears instead of Celine.
Well, yeah. Well, that would have been episode 2. At the time, that would have been episode 2.
Well, we did. I think we bookended it. No, we bookended it with Celine Dion, but then we also targeted Eminem and Scott Stapp. Is that his name? From Creed.
Well, this was 2003, because that's when that show was at Irvine Meadows.
I remember Ronnie seeing Britney Spears do this, and he was like, "What the hell is she doing? She doesn't have a clue."
Yeah. Well, we gotta let people know again that
I know
this Sunday.
It's such a brilliant idea. It's so much fun. It's
well, let's do it. Let's get together and see if we can resurrect it. I mean, I'm totally down.
Yeah.
I mean,
we own it.
I mean,
MTV doesn't own it.
Yeah, we love rock. We want to be able to bring rock
Todd
back.
would go along with this idea too.
Well, the great thing about that moment was Todd told us, he said, okay, Lemmy's been up for 3 days.
He said he was on.
He's in his trailer, but you guys are going to go in there, the two of you.
Yeah.
And just, if he attacks you verbally, you got to stand up to him. Because if you don't, he won't respect you. So we were like, oh my God, sweating bullets. But we go in, and all Lemmy wanted to do was show off his brand new cowboy boots.
Oh, right.
That had been perfectly engraved, and he was so proud of them. And he was like, he gave us Coors Light. He just had a big case of Coors Light.
Yep.
We hung out. Then he wanted to hear about Frank, as did Ronnie, because when Ronnie said, Ahmet, is it true that your father could hear frequencies that other humans couldn't hear?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah. And the band was like, really?
Yeah. Well, you know that. So my offices, beside my offices, Motorhead rents the storage space, and there's all of Lemmy's hats, all his cowboy boots, everything is all been archived, and it's all very, very tidy in there.
Wow.
Mine is a big nightmare.
What size shoe is he?
I don't know.
Just wondering if
he didn't have very big feet, actually.
Oh, fuck, all right.
Probably, I would think probably a 9.
Yeah, that's just not going to work for me. Do you know someone who might be able to stretch the boots so they fit me? Or
If you could get them away from Shelley, who's the archive person, you're a better man than me.
Yeah, I'll try to figure it out. Wow.
Yeah, so they're all in there. And Todd actually just sent me a postcard. He just comes back. He's been in Europe because they're putting up a statue in Stoke-on-Trent of Lemmy right now, where he comes from.
As they should.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it? 2 weeks ago was the Lemmy Night at the Rainbow.
Yep.
And if you are not familiar with this, Rainbow Bar and Grill, iconic spot, Magliari family. I wouldn't exist if they didn't help facilitate my mother meeting my father.
Beautiful people. Beautiful people.
The greatest.
Mario, I knew so well. He was so wonderful. He passed away, but when Michael, his son, passed away, he was a really dear friend of mine. That was just horrible.
Yeah.
He had an aneurysm in the bathtub. We were waiting to go to the races, and he just awful. It was such a shock, and it hurt me so bad. Yeah.
I think one of the last fun moments I had with him and you, you were insane, and you bid on an auction, and you kept going. We were at a cancer fundraiser, TJ Martell cancer fundraiser, which we go to every year.
Right.
And you bid on Dave Grohl doing a barbecue for 70 people, right?
50 people at my house.
Yeah. So Wendy, it's like, I'm going to do it. Right. And I'm not going to say the number, but it was
a lot. You know, what's his name from Tool was bidding against me.
Maynard.
Yeah.
But like an extraordinary amount to have Dave Grohl do barbecue. And you might think that it's, again, this is all for charity, so all for a good cause. Cancer research, that's where, those are the kinds of charities I get involved in. Again, lost both my parents to cancer, as you know. But so I was lucky enough to get an invitation from you, and we go, and I have to say, right, Dave is no joke with his barbecue.
Oh, he takes it very, very seriously.
It's a 24-hour situation.
He showed up, 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah. It's fucking nutso. And it's
huge, big barbecue behind his trailer.
It's not like, Dave...
the smoker. It was a smoker.
Yeah.
He smoked it all night.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he is there, like the same focus that Dave has on writing a song and, killing it on the drums. This level of intensity and focus on the barbecue was awesome. The food was delicious.
It was delicious. It was wonderful.
The crowd was awesome.
Yeah. That was a fun party. But let me tell you something. I paid a lot of money. Lot of money. I mean, really a lot of money. But the following year, you know that Rick Sales paid 3 times as much as what I paid. And then on top of it, he had the party at the Houdini Mansion. And that's not cheap either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rick, he's doing all right. He's having a good moment with Ghost and his other bands.
Slayer.
Yeah.
Speaking of benefits.
Yes.
Sunday, May 18th.
Yes.
Griffith Park. On the lawn next to the Autry Museum, it's the Rock for Ronnie concert.
New location, by the way, which I think is going to be the best location. I think we're going to have the best outcome, mostly because I'm hosting it and Eddie Trunk is not hosting it.
But here's the lineup.
That's why it's going to be great.
Here's the lineup. Some of the bands that are playing, of course, our friend Sebastian Bach is headlining.
See?
Okay, the Dio Disciples. Kill Devil Hill is playing. Led Zeppelin is playing. Do you want to say anything else about the day? Or
well, we have the all-star lineup, which everybody, Ricky Warwick, Doug Aldridge, Rudy, Zazo, you name it, they're there. Anybody who's in town will come up. They go for an hour. We have got all-stars playing different songs, different things, just having fun and just amazing.
It's the ultimate metal event because it's chill. It's friends playing songs they love. Not all of it's even Ronnie songs, right? It's just a celebration of music.
No, a celebration of music. And also, it's a family affair. People come with their kids, their dogs, and sit on the grass and just, we have food trucks there, we have wine and beer, we have silent auction, live auction, some really cool live auction things going to be going on. And we have tickets to the Black Sabbath show in July in Birmingham. You have two Grand Circle tickets that we're going to auction off,
Okay.
together with a poster from back in the day, probably in the 70s, signed by everybody in the Black Sabbath band then. So that's going to be one
Awesome.
of the live auction things we have.
And if
You're not going to take that, are you?
I bid on it. I mean, I might not let that go. That's
Yeah.
right up my alley. But
Yeah.
if people want to go to the auction, how do they do that? Is it only live there, or is it also online at the same time? Or
It's live there, but we're trying to fix it where we can do it. It can go everywhere. Right now, it'll be live there, but
Right.
we do have because we have when Eddie Trunk does the bowling with us, he has a celebrity team.
Right.
And we auction off at one place.
they're just cheaters. They just cheat on their team. They win it every year.
Well, you know
It's-
what? No. One of the guys brought a professional bowler in.
Yeah, I said
cheating.
cheaters. They're
Yeah.
cheaters.
Cheaters.
Yeah. Your
Not
microphone.
Eddie Trunk's team, another team.
No, we cheated one year.
How did we
Our
cheat?
team.
You cheated?
How did we cheat?
Remember?
Cheated ourselves by losing the entire thing?
No, but I know that Diva won the lowest score one year. She got which you get trophies. You get trophies for it, and she got the horse's ass.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm proud. I have my rockin' Bull Ferrani
You got a
trophies.
trophy, yeah.
Yeah. I those. I take that seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But so this event, anyone can go. All of the money goes to charity,
Yeah.
gours towards cancer
Every
research.
penny, yes, and we will be presenting again. We've been helping or sponsoring Dr. Wong at UCLA.
Yeah.
For about 5 years, we give him $25,000 each time. So it's twice a year we give it to him.
And not to interrupt you, but right now it's so important to independently raise money for cancer research because the cancer research and certain cancer studies have been defunded. So really the new discoveries are being discovered in cancer cures and treatments and all of that really do happen with organizations like yours.
Yeah, we Dr. Wong is amazing. What he's developing, and it's only for pancreatic cancer and stomach cancers, because those are the ones that you don't know you've got it until it's too late. So what he's developing, and it'll be amazing when it comes through, and it's almost there, is when you could go to like the drugstore and buy a COVID kit.
Yeah.
You go to the drugstore and you buy this kit. You take it home, you swab your mouth, and then you send it in, and it can tell you if you have any kind of cancer of pancreatic or cancer and what stage it's at right there.
Wow.
So early detection, you know that you can get surgery, you can have it removed, you can get rid of it. And the nicest thing, because we've been supporting for 5 years, is UCLA is now going to name the spit room after Ronnie.
That's nice.
Oh, nice.
That is.
That's what I think he would get a real laugh out of that.
Absolutely. The spit room.
The spit room, yep, where they do all the research from the spit and whatever. Yep, the spit room.
But do they also turn it into like a delicious dessert afterwards with the
God, that would be
from
good.
the spit room? Do they turn into an icy at all? No, gross. No. So come join us right on Sunday.
Yeah.
Right, and fly in, all of you that are watching right now. You have to be there.
DioCancerFund.org.
Yes.
That has link for tickets, or just Google Rock for Ronnie. Go to the Dio website, the official
Yep.
Dio website. There are links to get tickets,
Or you can just buy them on the day.
or buy them on the day.
Yep.
This is a yes. We
Yes,
all
you
this is
can.
true.
She just, my daughter's one of the ones who's
Yeah.
doing check-ins.
Thank you so much, Wendy. I love you. Cheers.